1. Discovery and early settlement, 9th century. Norse exploration. Iceland was first settled by Norse Vikings from Scandinavia, mainly from Norway. According to Landnámabók, the Book of Settlements, Ingólfur Arnarsson was the first permanent settler, arriving in 874 AD. He established his homestead where modern-day Reykjavik stands. Before the Norse, Irish monks called Papar are believed to have visited Iceland, though they left little impact. Landnám, settlement period 874–930. The settlement period saw an influx of Viking settlers who brought sheep, horses, cattle and their cultural practices. They cleared forests for pasture and built turf houses. The Vikings were drawn by the uninhabited land's resources, particularly its rich fishing waters and grazing lands. 2. The founding of Alþingi 930 AD. Þingvellir. In 930, the settlers established the Alþingi, a national assembly where chieftains met annually at Þingvellir, a natural amphitheater created by the rift between the Eurasian and North American tectonic plates. Laws were made, disputes settled, and punishments meted, including exile or execution. The Alþingi was a legal body and a major social gathering. Law speaker. Iceland's laws were oral, memorized by the law speaker, Lögsögumaður, who recited a third of the laws each year during the Alþingi's proceedings. 3. Conversion to Christianity 1000 AD. Iceland's conversion to Christianity in the year 1000 was peaceful compared to other regions of Europe. The decision was made at the Alþingi under the leadership of the law speaker, Þorgeir Ljósvetningagódi, who decided to adopt Christianity to prevent a split between pagan and Christian factions. The compromise allowed for the continued private practice of pagan rites, for a time, but the official religion became Christianity. This move helped Iceland maintain unity and avoid religious conflicts. 4. The Icelandic sagas and literary culture, 12th–14th century. Icelandic sagas. The sagas are a cornerstone of Iceland's cultural heritage. Written in the 12th to 14th centuries, they recount the lives and adventures of the early settlers, Viking voyages, feuds, and battles. Some of the most famous sagas include the Njáls saga, which tells of a deadly feud, and Egil's saga, which recounts the life of the warrior poet Egil Skallagrímsson. Eddas. Alongside the sagas, the prose Edda and poetic Edda are key medieval texts from Iceland, preserving much of what we know about Norse mythology. The prose Edda was written by Snorri Sturluson, an Icelandic historian, poet, and politician. 5. The Commonwealth era and foreign rule, 930–1262. Icelandic Commonwealth. For over 300 years, Iceland functioned as an independent commonwealth without a king or centralized government. However, power struggles between chieftains led to the decline of this system by the mid-13th century. Union with Norway, 1262. In 1262, Iceland entered a union with Norway, submitting to the Norwegian crown. This marked the end of the Icelandic Commonwealth. The union later extended to Denmark when the crowns of Norway and Denmark were united in the late 14th century. 6. Volcanic eruptions and natural disasters. Laki eruption, 1783–1784. One of the most catastrophic volcanic eruptions in history occurred in Iceland when the Laki fissure erupted. The eruption lasted 8 months and released massive amounts of ash and poisonous gases into the atmosphere. It caused a famine in Iceland, killing about 25% of the population. The eruption also had a global impact, with sulfuric aerosols leading to a dramatic drop in temperatures, crop failures, and widespread hunger in Europe. Katla and Hekla. Iceland's history is dotted with frequent volcanic eruptions from Hekla and Katla, two of the island's most active volcanoes. Hekla was once considered the entrance to hell in medieval European folklore due to its frequent and explosive eruptions. 7. Iceland's struggle for independence, 19th–20th century. National awakening. In the 19th century, inspired by the wave of nationalism sweeping Europe, Iceland began to push for greater autonomy. The rise of Icelandic literary societies, such as the Icelandic Literary Society in 1816, helped revive national identity through the preservation of language and literature. Home Rule, 1904. In 1904, Iceland gained home rule from Denmark, meaning it could govern its internal affairs while still under the Danish crown. The Act of Union in 1918 granted Iceland sovereignty, while Denmark continued to manage its foreign affairs. 8. World War II and full independence 1944. Allied occupation. During World War II, Iceland was of strategic importance due to its location in the North Atlantic. After Denmark was occupied by Nazi Germany in 1940, British forces occupied Iceland to prevent it from falling into German hands. The US later took over the occupation, building key infrastructure and airfields. Republic of Iceland, 1944. On June 17, 1944, while Denmark was still under Nazi occupation, Iceland declared itself a fully independent republic in a referendum. Svein Björnsson became Iceland's first president. This day is now celebrated as Iceland's National Day. 9. Geothermal energy and environmental innovation. Harnessing nature. Iceland sits on the mid-Atlantic ridge, giving it access to abundant geothermal energy. The country began using geothermal energy in the early 20th century for heating homes and generating electricity. Today, almost 100% of Iceland's electricity comes from renewable sources, around 73% from hydropower and 27% from geothermal energy. Greenhouses and agriculture. Iceland uses geothermal energy to heat greenhouses, enabling the country to grow vegetables and fruits like tomatoes, cucumbers, and even bananas despite its northern climate. 10. Financial crisis and recovery, 2008-present. 2008 financial crisis. Iceland was hit hard by the global financial crisis of 2008. The three largest banks, which had taken on massive debts, collapsed. The Icelandic government allowed them to fail, and the country's currency, the krona, depreciated sharply. Unemployment spiked, but Iceland recovered more quickly than many expected, partially due to its ability to devalue its currency and attract tourists. Tourism boom. Iceland's tourism sector exploded after the Eyjafjallajökull eruption in 2010. Images of the volcanic eruption captivated global audiences, leading to a surge in visitors eager to explore the country's natural beauty: glaciers, waterfalls, geysers, and the northern lights. 11. Social progress and gender equality. First female president, 1980. Iceland was the first country in the world to democratically elect a female head of state, Vigdís Finnbogadóttir, who served from 1980 to 1996. Her election was a milestone in Iceland's long history of gender equality efforts. Gender pay gap. Legislation. Iceland has been a global leader in promoting gender equality. In 2018, it became the first country in the world to enforce equal pay laws, requiring companies to prove they pay men and women equally. 12. Unique fauna and flora. Icelandic horse. Icelandic horses are known for their resilience, having been bred in isolation for over a millennium. They possess a unique gait called the tolt, and no other horses are allowed to be imported into the country. Once an Icelandic horse leaves, it cannot return, ensuring the breed remains pure. Arctic fox. The only native land mammal is the Arctic fox, which survived the last ice age by crossing over from mainland Europe via sea ice. Iceland's journey from a remote Viking outpost to a modern, progressive nation is filled with resilience, adaptation, and an enduring connection to its natural environment. Its small population has managed to make significant global impacts in literature, social progress, and environmental innovation. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you taking the time to explore this fascinating story with me. If you found this video interesting or thought-provoking, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might enjoy it too. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on any future videos where we dive even deeper into intriguing mysteries, untold histories, and the wonders of the unknown.